You know, in a way, I always believed that the Mayans were right about the end of the world in 2012. But I never thought the end would be like this. When the first cases appeared, I thought to myself, those motherfuckers. But honestly, who would think the world would be the same as a terror movie for teenagers? I actually had seen a couple of the movies of that kind. I liked it. Romero, Danny Boyle, even Tetsuro Takeshi, or whatever the hell his name was. Still, they had no idea what they were doing. What happened in the movies was a paradise compared to what really happened. It seemed as though they knew everything, but in reality, they didn't know anything. In the movies, they show a lone hero that has to save the girl or go meet someone. It was the story of many people in the beginning, you know. What they failed to show was what happened between the beginning and the end. Violence, rapes, robberies, famine, murder, cannibalism. I once saw a mother. Oh man. You know, there's a rule in nature. If a female bear is hungry, it will eat its young, for a very logical reason. If the mother dies, the cubs die. But if the mother eats them to survive, she can have more in the future. People would do anything to survive. Well, the line between human and animal is very thin. And I guess we're all animals in the end. But you know what the worst enemy mankind had to face? Ignorance. It wasn't those monsters that we had to face every day, but the simple fact that we knew nothing about them. Don't get me wrong. Truth is, we had information aplenty. We were warned so many times about what was going on and what would go on. We simply did not pay attention. We thought that the government would find a solution for it before it got to our doorstep. Ever heard that saying, none so blind as those who will not see? That's what happened. We ignored the threat until it was too late. Ironic. You would be walking down the street and you would see those poor bastards yelling, "The end is near," or "They have come to punish us for our sins." Who would say that they, of all people, would be right? Maybe the time that was harder on me was the beginning. The chaos around us, the ignorance about what was happening around us. We had so much heads up, so many people warning us, and we were still caught off guard. In the movies, we see the change happen from day to night. I always thought it was something impossible to happen. The truth is, it doesn't. The TV channels reported the first cases like it was some kind of game or bad joke. Radios, even newspapers, something not worthy of our attention. All that mattered to them was if an actress had worn the same dress twice, or if a millionaire had bought another giant yacht. And those YouTube paranoids that take anything and try to analyze it, find clues and leads, they were the first to try to warn us. But it's inherently human to ignore anything not happening in your own backyard. You shrug away those that try to warn us. We prefer to maintain the illusion of a perfect life instead of facing the reality around us. The reality was that the world was crumbling around us, even when the first cases started appearing in town, in the neighborhood, in the house next door. People still ignored the problem. In their minds it was some weird flu, or some kind of other sickness. That's what made the first wave of victims. The ignorance of the real threat of the disease. And then came the day that they could not pretend anymore. The day that they left home to go to work and saw hell itself. In their own front lawn. Sons of bitches. With every single sign right in front of them. And they thought they were too important to be bothered to even think about it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I was one of those sons of bitches. I thought I was safe. That it was nothing. That I had nothing to worry about. That it would all just solve itself out. Even when they started knocking on my door, I thought to myself, wait it out. They'll go away. You'll be saved. I was fucking stupid. Those things did not go away out of nowhere. And if you wanted advice from someone that survived all that shit, I got one. When you think you're safe and that everything's gonna be fine, then start thinking about fucking running. Barricading yourselves and hoping they starve to death? What a fucking shitty idea. Those fucking things out there have all the fucking time in the fucking world to wait out for all of you.